Hey everyone, this is video for day 2 and 3. I skipped yesterday and heard about it from my wonderful grandchildren that they didn't get to see Poppy. So I apologize to all of my 4 of my grandchildren for that. So I'm covering 2 days, and I'll try not to skip a day from here on out. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that has provided support and prayers for me and Kathy and Stephanie on our journey of the way of St. Francis. I see your posts and I feel your love and I appreciate it. So thank you for that. Yesterday was a really tough day. It was all uphill. We started in Pieve. I'm going to have to go up and cheat a little bit. Pieve Santo Stefano, and we're walking to Pian della Capano. I'm sure I'm messing up those names. Anyway, it was all uphill. It was about 12 miles. It took us 6.5 hours or so. And the biggest climb was we climbed to the top of Monteverdi. And Monteverdi is known for, it was part of the Germans' Gothic line, I think was what it was called. And when the Allies invaded in Anzio, they were coming up from the south, and all along the mountains we're walking, they set up command posts, and one of those command posts was where we climbed to the top of, and it was a very difficult climb. It was in the last 100, 200 yards, it was almost better if you were on all fours kind of climbing up, because it was such a steep incline. But we made it, and it was beautiful views. And you can go onto my Facebook page, both my personal Facebook page, Scott Decker, and my Relentless Catholic Facebook page, and I've got pictures of yesterday's some of the views from it, and it was really a very awe-inspiring. Kind of came down into this area, this Pian della Capana, and which isn't much, but it was it was called a refugio, so refuge, if you will. And I was a bit skeptical about the whole, seemed rather Spartan. And everybody that knows me knows I do like comfort. And so it was, and it got very cold. I didn't think we're that high, but I mean, it got cold. It was, I would bet, in the low 50s, maybe even upper 40s. I was shivering in my room, and I finally went down to the dining room where we were going to eat, and the hosts started a fire in the fireplace, and it was amazing. I mean, it just kind of heated up the room. It made it very nice, and that fire was going the entire time. And I think I've commented either on Facebook or maybe even in videos that we're not seeing very many pilgrims. We're not, unlike the Camino de Santiago, you see people all the time, but here we've seen very few people. When we arrived at the refuge, there were 4 or 5 other hikers who were in the garden, kind of the yard area of this refuge, waiting for it to open. And they were just waiting for it to get a cup of coffee or a beer or a glass of wine or something, a little something to eat. And we were there to, that was where we were going to stay at night. And it was during dinner, when we waited for dinner, when we got there for dinner, there were 6 place settings, not just 3 for me and Kathy and Stephanie. There were 6, and it turned out we were joined by 3 students from Padua. One was named Marco, one was named Simone, maybe in Simone, but Simon with an E, and then a young lady named Vittoria. And they all spoke great English, and it became one of the highlights of the whole trip, in that we talked about everything from how to say things in Italian to U.S. politics to Italian politics. Did you know they have like 20 different political parties in Italy? And the only way things get done is if these parties enter into alliances. And you sit there and think about, we have 2, and it doesn't seem like we would ever enter into alliances. But anyway, it was really interesting. Talked about the European Union, the impact of the euro, the impact of World War II. It was just fascinating to hear from 3. They were all about 20, and they were going to the University of Padua, and they were fascinating young people, and they found us fascinating, which is really hard to believe. Anyway, so we got up this morning and then started walking to San Sepolcro, which is where we're at tonight, and it just started. It was misting a little bit this morning, and when we looked at the weather apps, it would say that it wasn't gonna rain much during the day. So we kind of took off assuming it wasn't gonna rain. It rained all day. Everything was wet. We were able to get our pack covers on so that nothing got damaged, but it was raining hard all day. And then Kathy and I, being Catholic, and Stephanie being open to just the experience, I was saying that, boy, we got to find a place to go to Mass. We're not gonna, it's Sunday, and we may not be able to get to Mass. And we were walking by this monastery, and we noticed some people parking and walking in. And this is a place, I would say, a tourist attraction, as much as one of those places that they say you ought to go and see. So we thought we'd go and see. We walk in, and Mass, Sunday Mass, is starting when we walk in. And it was just like, oh my gosh, it's such a God thing that we were worried about not being able to get to Mass on Sunday, and here we were passing by right at the time that Sunday Mass was starting. So we were very excited to get to do that. And then we continued down to San Sepolcro, and the hotel's very nice, and we got a big lunch, big late lunch, so we're not really eating dinner tonight. And went and did some laundry, and are now settled in for the evening, and a bit sore from 2 days of very difficult walking, and ready to continue on tomorrow. So I appreciate again everybody's love and support and prayers, and I can always use prayers. So keep doing that, and we'll see you tomorrow. Love you, Braden, Ava, Rhett, and Reed.